Alamogordo is the county seat and economic center of Otero County in south-central New Mexico, United States. A city in the Tularosa Basin of the Chihuahuan Desert, it is bordered on the east by the Sacramento Mountains and to the west by White Sands National Monument. It is the city nearest to Holloman Air Force Base. The population was 30,403 as of the 2010 census. Alamogordo is known for its connection with the Trinity test, the first explosion of an atomic bomb, and also for the Atari video game Burial of 1983. Humans have lived in the Alamogordo area for at least 11,000 years. The present settlement, established in 1898 to support the construction of the El Paso and Northeastern Railroad, is an early example of a planned community. The city was incorporated in 1912. Tourism became an important economic factor with the creation of White Sands National Monument in 1934. During the 1950-60s, Alamogordo was an unofficial center for research on pilot safety in the developing United States space program. Alamogordo is a charter city with a council-manager form of government. City government provides a large number of recreational and leisure facilities for its citizens, including a large park in the center of the city, many smaller parks scattered through the city, a golf course, Alameda Park Zoo, a network of walking paths, Alamogordo Public Library, and a senior citizens center. Gerald Champion Regional Medical Center is a non-profit shared military-civilian facility that is also the hospital for Holloman. History. Tularosa Basin has been inhabited for at least 11,000 years. There are signs of previous inhabitants in the area such as the Clovis culture, the Folsom culture, the peoples of the Archaic period, and the formative stage. The Mescalero Apache were already living in the Tularosa Basin when the Spanish came in 1534, and Mescalero oral history says they have always lived there. The Spanish built a chapel at La Luz from the future site of Alamogordo, in 1719, although La Luz was not settled until about 1860. The city of Alamogordo was founded in June 1898, when the El Paso and Northeastern Railroad, headed by Charles Bishop Eddy, extended the railway to the town. Eddy influenced the design of the community, which included large wide thoroughfares and tree-lined irrigation canals. Charles Eddy's brother John Arthur Eddy named the new city Alamogordo after a grove of fat cottonwoods he remembered from the Pecos River area. When Alamogordo was laid out in 1898, the east-west streets were given numerical designations, while north-south streets were named after states. The present-day White Sands Boulevard was then called Pennsylvania Avenue. Several government buildings in Alamogordo were constructed by the Works Progress Administration, a government program created in 1935 in response to the Great Depression. These include the Otero County Administration Building at 1101 New York Avenue, a Pueblo-style building originally constructed as the main U.S. Post Office in 1938. The building is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. The main entrance portico features frescoes by Peter Hurd completed in 1942. The post office moved out in 1961, and the building was used by a succession of federal agencies and was known as the Federal Building. The last federal agency to occupy it was the United States Forest Service, who used it as the headquarters of the Lincoln National Forest until October 2008, when that agency moved to a newly constructed building. Ownership of the building was transferred to Otero County government and many government offices were moved from the courthouse to the new administration building in February 2009. Alamogordo briefly made international news in late 2001 when Christ Community Church held a public book burning of books in the Harry Potter series, and several other series, on December 30. Geography. As of 2010, Alamogordo had a total area of 19.3 square miles, all of it land. The city is located at an elevation of 4,336 feet on the western flank of the Sacramento Mountains and on the eastern edge of the Tularosa Basin. It is in the Rio Grande Rift and in the northernmost part of the Chihuahuan Desert. Tectonic activity is low in the Tularosa Basin. Plants native to the area are typical of the southern New Mexico foothills and include creosote bush, mesquite, saltbush, cottonwood, desert willow, and many species of cactus and yucca. The Tularosa Basin is a closed basin, that is, no water flows out of it. Because of this and because of the geology of the region, water in the basin is hard. It has very high total dissolved solids concentrations, in excess of 3,000 mg per liter. The Brackish Groundwater National Desalination Research Facility, a Bureau of Reclamation laboratory doing research and development on desalination of brackish water, is located in Alamogordo. The gypsum crystals of White Sands National Monument are formed in Lake Lucero. Water drains from the mountains carrying dissolved gypsum and collects in Lake Lucero. After the water dries, the winds pick up the gypsum crystals and distribute them over the basin. Demographics: as of the census of 2000, there were 35,582 people, 13,704 households, and 9,728 families residing in the city. There were 15,920 housing units. The racial makeup of the city was 75.4% white, 5.6% African American, 1.1% Native American, 1.5% Asian, 0.2% Pacific Islander, 12.1% from some other race, and 4.2% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 32.0% of the population. There were 13,704 households, out of which 36.3% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 55.6% were married couples living together, 11.7% had a female householder with no husband present, and 29.0% were non-families. 25.2% of all households were made up of individuals and 8.8% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.57 and the average family size was 3.07. In the city the population was spread out with 28.7% under the age of 18, 9.2% from 18 to 24, 29.7% from 25 to 44, 19.9% from 45 to 64 and 12.7% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 34 years. For every 100 females there were 97.6 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 94.1 males. In 1999 the median income for a household in the city was $30,928, and the median income for a family was $35,673. Males had a median income of $28,163 versus $18,860 for females. The per capita income for the city was $14,662. About 13.2% of families and 16.5% of the population were below the poverty line, including 23.9% of those under age 18 and 11.8% of those age 65 or over. Alamogordo's and Otero County's July 1, 2008. Population were estimated at 35,757 and 62,776 respectively by the United States Census Bureau's Population Estimates Program. Economy: Alamogordo is the economic center of Otero County, with over half the Otero County population living within the city limits. Alamogordo today has very little manufacturing and has a primarily service and retail economy, driven by tourism, a large nearby military installation and a concentration of military retirees. In 2006 the per capita income in Otero County was $22,377 versus per capita income in New Mexico of $29,346. Economic history Alamogordo was founded as a company town to support the building of the El Paso and Northeastern Railroad, a portion of the Transcontinental Railway that was being constructed in the late 19th century. Initially its main industry was timbering for railroad ties. The railroad founders were also eager to found a major town that would persist after the railroad was completed. They formed the Alamogordo Improvement Company to develop the area, making Alamogordo an early example of a planned community. The Alamogordo Improvement Company owned all the land, platted the streets, built the first houses and commercial buildings, donated land for a college, and placed a restrictive covenant on each deed prohibiting the manufacture, distribution, or sale of intoxicating liquor. Tourism became an important part of the local economy from the creation of White Sands National Monument in 1934. Construction began on the Alamogordo Army Airfield in 1942, and the federal government has been a strong presence in Alamogordo ever since. Education has also been an important part of the local economy. In addition to the local school system, Alamogordo is home to the New Mexico School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, founded in 1903, and a branch of New Mexico State University founded in 1958. The largest non-government employer in the city is the Gerald Champion Regional Medical Center with 650 employees in 2008. Military impact Holloman Air Force Base is the largest employer in Alamogordo, and has a major effect on the local economy. According to some estimates, Holloman accounts for half of the Alamogordo economy. According to the 49th Fighter Wing Public Affairs Office, as of January 2008, Holloman directly employs 6,111 personnel with a gross payroll of $266 million. It indirectly creates another 2,047 jobs with a payroll of $77 million. The estimated amount spent in the community, including payroll, construction projects, supplies, services, healthcare, and education, is $482 million. An estimated 6,700 military retirees live in the area. Counting both USAF and German Air Force personnel, there are 1,383 active military and 1,641 military dependents living on base and 2,765 active military and 2,942 military dependents living off base. Future Combat Systems is a wide-ranging modernization project of the U.S. Army. Much of the work will be done at Fort Bliss, with some at White Sands Missile Range and some at Holloman Air Force Base. Alamogordo is expected to get some economic benefit due to its proximity to these three bases. Economic development Otero County Economic Development Council is a non-profit organization founded in 1984. Its focus has generally been on job creation and recruiting and expanding businesses in Otero County, including helping them satisfy business regulations in New Mexico and lining up funding. Its role expanded in 2000, when Alamogordo passed an Economic Development Gross Receipts Tax. OCEDC continues to work to attract businesses, but now it also helps develop the incentive packages that will be paid by the new tax, and a portion of the tax receipts go to fund OCEDC's operating expenses. Formal economic development plans have been adopted by Alamogordo and by Otero County. OCEDC has recruited several new employers by using financial incentives. A 1-800 Flowers call center opened in November 2001 and received $1.25 million in city rent abatements, a 50% reduction in property taxes from Otero County, and $940,000 in plant training funds from the state of New Mexico. A Sun-Baked Biscuits cookie factory opened in 2006 and received $800,000 in job training incentives from the state. When the company went out of business in 2007, Marietta Baking took over the cookie factory and received interest-free loans, job training incentives, and partial forgiveness of indebtedness for job creation. A branch office of PreCheck Incorporated, a company performing background checks of healthcare workers, opened in 2006. PreCheck received $2.4 million in high-wage job creation tax credits, $1.5 million in job training subsidies, $1.5 million in capital outlay money for roads and infrastructure, a $625,000 allocation from City of Alamogordo for upgrading sewer lines in the area, and 20.8 acres of land from Heritage Group, a developer. The Otero County Film Office, an office of Otero County Economic Development Council, promotes filmmaking in Otero County by publicizing potential locations in the county and New Mexico's film financial incentive programs and by recruiting extras for film productions. It sponsors the Desert Light Film Competition for middle and high school students to encourage learning about the film industry. The 2007 film Transformers spent $5.5 million in New Mexico and $1 million in Alamogordo. Arts and culture. There are two amateur theatrical groups in Alamogordo. Alamogordo Music Theatre produces two musical productions annually at the Flicking Eye Center for Performing Arts. The NMSUA Theatre on the Hill produces an annual spring performance for young audiences at the Rovec Fine Arts Center on the New Mexico State University at Alamogordo campus, and an annual fall performance for general audiences. Annual cultural events. The Earth Day Fair is held annually on the last Saturday in April at Alameda Park Zoo. It features a butterfly release, a science fair, activities for children, and information booths from local health agencies and non-profits. Otero County Fair is held annually in early August at the county fairgrounds at the corner of White Sands Boulevard and Fairgrounds Road in Alamogordo. It features a rodeo, animal judging, food and game booths, and carnival rides. Non-profit and government agencies set up information booths in the exhibit hall. The Cottonwood Arts and Crafts Festival is put on each Labor Day weekend in Alameda Park by the Alamogordo Chamber of Commerce. It is primarily a showplace for vendors of handmade items, but also features music, entertainment, and food. White Sand Balloon Invitational is held annually in late September. Hot air balloons launch from the Reinesteinhofsocks Airplex on First Street or from White Sands National Monument and float over the Tularosa Basin. Oktoberfest is celebrated annually in late September, hosted by the German Air Force at Holloman Air Force Base. The public is invited, and shuttle buses run between Alamogordo and the base. Visitor attractions. New Mexico Museum of Space History is a state museum with the International Space Hall of Fame. Flicking Eye Center for Performing Arts, located at 1110 New York Avenue, is a 590-seat theater created in 1988 from a repurposed movie theater. It hosts concerts and live theatrical performances by touring groups, and is the venue for the local amateur group Alamogordo Music Theatre. Alamogordo Museum of History collects artifacts related to the history of Alamogordo and the Tularosa Basin. It is a private museum, operated by the Tularosa Basin Historical Society. Among notable items in the collection is a 47-star U.S. flag. New Mexico was the 47th state admitted to the Union, and U.S. flags were made with 47 stars only for 1 month, until Arizona was admitted. The museum shop has a large collection of local history books. The Historical Society also publishes its own series of monographs on local history, Pioneer. The museum had planned to move from its location at 1301 N White Sands Boulevard to a historic adobe building at the corner of White Sands Boulevard and 10th Street by the end of 2008, but as of July 2009 this plan has stalled due to lack of money to renovate the building. American Armed Forces Museum is a museum on U.S. Route 82 near Florida Avenue that opened in 2011. It collects and displays all kinds of military memorabilia from all wars and military engagements. The Shroud Exhibit and Museum, located in White Sands Mall, showcases a full-size backlit photographic transparency of the Shroud of Turin, a religious relic believed by some to be the burial cloth of Jesus Christ. They also feature a working VP8 image analyzer, the only one in the world where one can walk in and interact with this old analog computer. This town was founded the same year that Secondo Pierre took the first photograph of the shroud which started the modern investigation into the shroud. This is highlighted in the museum. In 1977 in Albuquerque, they held the conference that resulted in the 1978 study of the shroud with more scientists from New Mexico than any other state. The displayed photograph was created from the 1978 photographs made by Barry M. Schwartz as part of the Shroud of Turin research project. The displays include historical background materials, scientific information, kiosks with a variety of information, videos available for viewing and an exhibit of electronic image analysis of the shroud, among other interesting artifacts. The Alameda Park Zoo, the oldest zoo in the U.S. Southwest, is located in the city. Several Union Apache battles were fought near Oliver Lee Memorial State Park. Sports: the Alamogordo Desert DAWGS are an amateur football team formed in 2008. They are part of the New Mexico Football Alliance. The Desert DAWGS are organized as a limited liability company owned by Kenneth Mitchell, and have local sponsors underwriting expenses. The team has an agreement with Alamogordo Public Schools by which the Desert DAWGS practice and play home games at Alamogordo High School's Tiger Stadium, and the school district receives 20% of the home gate. Tiger Stadium is nicknamed the DAWG Pound, when the Desert DAWGS play there. Several of the team members are airmen from nearby Holloman Air Force Base. The White Sands Pupfish were the first ever professional baseball team in Alamogordo. They play in the Pecos League of Professional Baseball Clubs and started in the 2011 season. The Lady of the Mountain Run is held in December at the Griggs Sportsplex. The race consists of a half marathon, 10K, 5K, or corporate cup relay, and raises money for the needs-based Lady of the Mountain Scholarship Fund at NMSU Alamogordo. Fun run walks are popular in Alamogordo, although most are one-shot affairs put on as part of some larger event. One recurring event is Walk Out West, a 1.5-mile walk held each October in Alameda Park Zoo. It incorporates a health fair, live music, and fun events for kids. An offshoot of this is Dance Otero, an informal approach to ballroom dancing as a form of physical exercise that meets throughout the year. Both programs are run through Otero Path, a local non-profit that encourages preventive measures for good health. There are a number of annual sports events. The Tommy Padilla Memorial Basketball Tournament is an annual event held in March. It is an adult tournament that raises money for scholarships for Alamogordo High School students. The Gus Macker 3-on-3 Basketball Tournament is a national program that holds a tournament in Alamogordo each year in May. Prior to 2008 it was hosted by the Alamogordo Chamber of Commerce, and since then by the City of Alamogordo. The city receives 72% of the entry fees and 5% of the gross proceeds taken in by vendors. The event is held annually at Washington Park in conjunction with Saturday in the Park and Armed Forces Day. In 2009 more than 233 teams participated in the tournament. Several golf tournaments are held each year at Desert Lakes Golf Course, including the Robert W. Hamilton Charity Golf Classic. Parks and Recreation. Alamogordo has numerous small parks scattered through the city, and a few larger ones. Mentioned here are some of the more notable parks. Alameda Park is a city park lying on the west side of White Sands Boulevard between 10th Street and Indian Wells Road. Most of the park is shaded by cottonwood trees. At the south end of the park is Alameda Park Zoo, and at the north end is the Toy Train Depot, a railroad and toy train museum. Washington Park is a city park in the center of town, bounded by Washington and Oregon Avenues and running from 1st Street to Indian Wells Road. City Hall and several other city buildings are located in the park. At the north end of the park is Kids Kingdom, a children's play area with a giant jungle gym. There are public athletic fields at the gym are Griggs Sports Complex, located at the corner of Florida Avenue and Fairgrounds Road, and the Travis C. Hooser Ball Field Complex located at the corner of U.S. Route 70 and Walker Road. The Alamogordo Family Recreation Center, at 1100 Oregon Avenue, is a city-owned facility offering a weight room, swimming pool, and basketball gym. There are outdoor tennis courts north of the building. The Alamogordo Senior Center is a city facility for senior citizens that provides a social center and an exercise room and serves congregate meals and Meals on Wheels. Desert Lakes Golf Course is a city-owned golf course located at the south end of town on Hamilton Road at Desert Lakes Road. It is an 18-hole course. The clubhouse houses a restaurant and a pro shop. There is a PGA Golf Pro on duty at the course. Not inside the city but nearby are several national and state parks. The Oliver Lee Memorial State Park is about 10 miles south on U.S. Route 54, offers camping, hiking, and picnicking. The White Sands National Monument, a U.S. national monument, is located about 15 miles southwest of Alamogordo along U.S. Route 70. The area is in the mountain ring Tularosa Basin Valley area and comprises the southern part of a 275-square-mile field of white sand dunes composed of gypsum crystals. The Lincoln National Forest, whose headquarters are in Alamogordo, is a mountainous area that starts about 10 miles northeast of Alamogordo and offers hiking, fishing, and camping. The Sidney Paul Gordon Shooting Range, located about 3 miles north of town at 19 Rockcliffe Road in La Luz, is a supervised range with rifle, pistol, and archery ranges. Several competitions are held at the range each month. Government. Alamogordo was incorporated in 1912. It is a charter city, and the charter is included as Part 1 of the Code of Ordinances. It has a council-manager government form of government. There are 7 city commissioners, each elected from a district within the city, on staggered 4-year terms. The city manager is considered the chief executive officer of the city and is tasked to enforce and implement the city council's directives and policy. The mayor is a member of the city council. As of 2015, Susie Galea holds the position of mayor. Alamogordo's fiscal year ends on June 30 each year. Thus fiscal year 2008 runs from July 1, 2007, through June 30, 2008. The FY 2008 budget projects income of $61,454,402 and expenditures of $73,655,777. Sources of city government income and their percentages of the whole were, gross receipts tax, miscellaneous, grants, user fees, and property tax. Education. New Mexico State University Alamogordo is a 2-year community college established in 1958. It currently has approximately 1,800 students. There are 2 high schools, 3 middle schools, and 11 elementary schools in the Alamogordo Public School District. Prior to 2008 there were 2 private schools in Alamogordo, Legacy Christian Academy and Father James B. Hay Catholic School. A 3rd private school, Imago Dei Academy, opened in August 2008 and provides a classical Christian education. Kindergarten through 8th grade is taught with plans to gradually expand to the 12th grade. The German government operates the Deutsche Schule for children of German Air Force personnel stationed at the German Tactical Training Center at Holloman Air Force Base. The New Mexico School for the Blind and Visually Impaired is a state school located in Alamogordo. Alamogordo Public Library serves Alamogordo and Otero County. New Mexico State University Alamogordo's library is also open to the public. Media. The main newspaper in Alamogordo is Alamogordo Daily News, owned by Media News Group. ADN is published 6 days a week. On Monday, when it does not appear, subscribers receive the El Paso Times. ADN also publishes Hologram, a free weekly newspaper distributed at the nearby Holloman Air Force Base and covering happenings on base. There are no alternative newspapers published in Alamogordo, but the Inc., a free Las Cruces monthly newspaper devoted to the arts, is distributed in the city. The city government publishes City Profile, a monthly print newsletter that is mailed to all households in the city and is published electronically on the city website, and Comunica Copyright, a blog with city news. One television station, KVBALP, broadcasts from Alamogordo. It is a religious format, and a weekly local news magazine broadcast Thursday through Saturday. Cable television service is provided by Barger Broadband. There are 2 commercial radio broadcast companies, WP Broadcasting and Burt Broadcasting. Each operates several stations in several formats. There are 2 listener-supported radio stations that do not carry advertising but depend on sponsorships and donations. KLAG has a gospel music radio format and some live coverage of local events, including many remote broadcasts from civic events. KALHLP is a low-power FM station that carries a variety radio format, network news on the hour, and local news on some hours. Neither station is an NPR affiliate. The local NPR outlet is KRWG-FM in Las Cruces, which reaches Alamogordo through a local relay transmitter. Several major motion pictures were filmed in or near Alamogordo. The 2007 film Transformers was shot primarily at White Sands Missile Range, with additional filming at Holloman Air Force Base, both in the Alamogordo area. Its 2009 sequel Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen also prominently featured these two military bases. The 2009 film Year One was shot partly at White Sands National Monument, near Alamogordo. Alamogordo was one of the 14 cities profiled in the 2005 documentary 14 Days in America. The Otero County Film Office maintains a list of films shot partly or wholly in Alamogordo and Otero County. In May 2013, Alamogordo's City Commission approved a deal for Canada-based film production company Fuel Industries to excavate the Atari landfill site. Fuel Entertainment partnered with XBOX Entertainment Studios and Lightbox to make a documentary about the 1983 massive game burial of Atari games, said to be one of the gaming culture's greatest urban legends. On April 26, 2014, video game archaeologists began sifting through years of trash from the old Alamogordo landfill. The first batch of ET games was discovered after about 3 hours of digging, and hundreds more were found in the mounds of the trash and dirt scooped by a backhoe. In the deal between the city of Alamogordo and Fuel Entertainment regarding the excavation, Fuel Entertainment was to be given 250 games or 10% of what was found. Infrastructure and transportation. The city is accessible through 3 U.S. highways and scheduled commercial air service at Alamogordo White Sands Regional Airport. Major highways. The major intercity surface routes from Alamogordo are U.S. highways 54, 70, and 82, all of which are 4-lane roads. The major north-south street within the city is White Sands Boulevard. The Charlie T. Lee Memorial Relief Route, which is designated as U.S. Route 54 and 70, is a bypass road constructed to the west of the city in 2001 to relieve congestion on White Sands Boulevard. U.S. Route 70 and U.S. Route 54 traverses through the north and south ends of the city. At the south end of the city, White Sands Boulevard is a major named street that merges into U.S. Route 54/Charles T. Lee Memorial Relief Route, running south to El Paso, Texas. In the south part of the city, U.S. Route 70 splits from U.S. Route 54 in a southwestern direction towards Holloman Air Force Base, White Sands National Monument, White Sands Missile Range, and Las Cruces. At the north end of the city, White Sands Boulevard and the Charles T. Lee Memorial Relief Route become a merged U.S. Route 54 and U.S. Route 70 running north to Tularosa. U.S. Route 82 starts at the same point and runs east to Cloudcroft and the mountain communities of Otero County, and then to Artesia. Meanwhile, in Tularosa, U.S. 70 and U.S. 54 both split, in which U.S. 70 heads east through the mountains, and towards Ruidoso and Roswell, while U.S. 54 heads north towards Corrizoso and keeps going north until it heads east again starting in Vaughan. Other transportation. Alamogordo White Sands Regional Airport is the municipal airport located in the Alamogordo area. It is primarily used for general aviation. There is no longer scheduled commercial service from New Mexico Airlines, previously operated under a subsidy from the Essential Air Service program. Greyhound Lines offers intercity bus service to Alamogordo. There is daily shuttle van service between Alamogordo and El Paso International Airport. Z-Trans is the mass transit system, providing paratransit and scheduled service within the city center and to White Sands Mall, Holloman Air Force Base and Inn of the Mountain Gods Resort and Casino and Mescalero. Z-Trans is unusual in that it is privately owned, although it does get some local and state subsidies. The Alamogordo city government is building a network of bike routes and walking routes. More information and maps are in the Alamogordo Comprehensive Plan. The New Mexico Rails to Trails Association operates a Rails to Trails project to convert old railroad beds to walking trails. Its trail system in Otero County, the Cloud Climbing Rail Trail, is planned to eventually surround Alamogordo. Utilities. Electric power is supplied within the city by PNM Resources. PNM also provides electrical power in the Tularosa Basin, while Otero County Electric Cooperative, a member cooperative of Tri-State Generation and Transmission Association and of Touchstone Energy, serves other areas of the county. Natural gas is supplied within the city by New Mexico Gas Company. Severn Trent operates both the water and sewage treatment facilities for the city of Alamogordo. Severn Trent maintains all water storage facilities, booster pump stations, city wells and treats the wastewater to be reused by the city to water the parks, Desert Lakes Golf Course and is sold to construction companies for dust control. Rural houses have individual wells. Alamogordo has a dark sky ordinance to reduce the amount of light pollution in the night skies. The ordinance was passed in 1990 to promote the growth and scientific productivity of Apache Point Observatory. City streetlights are high-pressure sodium vapor lamps. Healthcare. Gerald Champion Regional Medical Center is a private not-for-profit 99-bed general hospital that serves the Alamogordo area. The hospital is a shared military-civilian facility that is also the hospital for nearby Holloman Air Force Base. The Otero County Community Health Council prepares a detailed health profile each year with many facts and figures about health in Otero County. Otero County is ranked in the middle of most health rankings within the state. New Mexico is near the bottom of most national rankings, for example it was 38th in the United Health Foundation 2007 report, but has been slowly improving. When health-promoting features are considered, instead of the healthiness of the population, Alamogordo is ranked as one of the 50 healthiest places to live in the United States, among 6 in New Mexico. Civic boosters such as the Chamber of Commerce publicize this ranking. Notable natives and residents, among scientists, Edward Condon, a physicist and a past director of National Institute of Standards and Technology, was born in Alamogordo. Alan Hale, an astronomer and co-discoverer of comet Hale-Bopp, grew up in Alamogordo and lives in nearby Cloudcroft. Among politicians, Edwin L. Meckham, a past governor and United States Senator from New Mexico, was born in Alamogordo, as was Cindy Chavez, a past member of the San Jose, California City Council. Edward Lee Howard, a former CIA case agent who allegedly gave classified material to the Russians and later defected to the Soviet Union, is an Alamogordo native. Marilyn D. Trotter, perennial New Mexico State fiddle champion and Alamogordo native, formerly performed with the Flying J Wranglers in Alto, New Mexico. In sports, professional soccer player Adam Fry, jockey Donna Barton brothers, and former professional American football cornerback Conrad Hamilton were all born in Alamogordo. Alexis Dupree, crowned Miss New Mexico in 2013 and again in 2015, is from Alamogordo. Mai Shanley, who became Miss USA 1984, represented the city as Miss New Mexico USA. References. External links, official website, Alamogordo Chamber of Commerce, Alamogordo Travel Guide from Waikiki Voyage.